You about Scenic Route, and my first question is, you play Carter in the film, so what was it about the character and the script overall that really convinced you to take on this role?
What was about the character?
Yes.
I felt like uh, probably could have been me in a parallel universe if I made some different choices. And um, he was an artist who wanted to stick to his guns and really see his vision through to the end. And also the relationship he has with Mitchell, which is the Josh's character. It's I've been in that situation where you have a friend who's like in what I call like a love bubble where they've blocked out everybody and all their friends, and they kind of just it's only the two of them. And you as a friend you miss them and you miss that time you had with them. So my character is staging like an intervention to get his friend back.
And speaking of Josh, who plays Mitchell in the film, what was your working relationship with him like overall in the film? How did you really develop your relationship on the set?
Uh, Josh helped cast it. He produced as well, and he they found me. They knew that they needed somebody who had some theater chops, or at least someone that could sustain like a long dialogue scenes, but also do a lot of the physical craziness that happens out there. So they from the first meeting, we hit it off with the directors, and the Goetz brothers. We all just got together and just talked about the script, and I think we were all on the same level right away. It was we all felt like it was kind of like a modern Waiting for Godot in a lot of ways, and meets like the Coen brothers, meets No Country for Old Men or something, and that's so we all were kind of on the same page, and then that was that. We just we got into rehearsals and everything was really um, quite fun and really easy. And Josh was so gung ho, and I think we were both going into it trying to stretch some muscles and show some new skills on the spectrum of what we can do. So yeah.
And I was going to actually ask you about that. How did you really become involved with the movie overall? Did Kevin and Michael approach you with the role, or did you have to go audition? What was that process
No,
like?
we sat down. Like I was saying, the first meeting was just to talk about the role. I think they offered it to me, or at least they wanted to meet me, and then they made the offer. But yeah, we sat and just talked about it, and we all seemed on the same page. Uh, and then that was that. I was in it. There was no audition, but there was a lot of rehearsal. There was a lot of rehearsal, which was great. It was like rehearsing a play. We rehearsed for at least a week or two before we actually shot, so that when we did shoot, we were just everything was kind of off book, ready to go, and everything was kind of flowing with the chemistry ready, so we would be able to do these really long takes.
And did you mainly stick to the script while you were filming, or did you maybe improv with Josh at all on the set? What was that process like?
There was a little bit of there was a very little bit of improvising. We already had a lot to say. Um, we did maybe a little editing on the fly, just to, but that happens all the time when you're trying to really find a scene and what makes sense to you as the character, doing it.
I was just asking, maybe if you improv then, or did you
Yeah,
mainly like stick to the script?
that's hilarious. Yeah, I went up on my line for that hysterical question. Uh, there was very little. We had a lot to say. We stuck to the script. Um, yeah, I said that.
And what was the process of like working with Kevin and Michael on the set? Since they're brothers and the two of them co-directed the movie, did they have a different maybe approach to directing overall, or what was that experience like overall?
I was hoping they were going to be the Coen brothers, basically the young Coen brothers going into it, because that's what I think it was going to take to make all the accents in the film work, and I think they did that really well. Um, so I think they rose to the occasion, and I think in the same vein of just how I heard here the Coen brothers work, they converse a lot with each other, and then they send one of the brothers will go out and deal with the actors, and that's what these guys did basically. So everything looked really smooth to us, and it looked like they were just old pros just bouncing off of each other. They were totally prepared, finishing each other's sentences, that kind of thing.
And speaking of the directing, you've also done a few directing jobs as well as your career. So, do you feel that having that directing experience for your own maybe if influences or maybe kind of guides you as when you're an actor on set?
Uh, I have a lot of respect, a lot more respect for the director and what they have to do. And as an actor, you feel like, wow, all I got to do is act. That's great. That's awesome. That's fun. But when you're a director, you're the captain of the ship, and you're saying yes and no to everything, and that's an amazing job, and it's so fulfilling in a lot of ways, and then it's also one of the hardest things you'll ever do. So I got a lot of respect for the director and a lot of respect for the process. I love making independent films where you're in the mud and the dirt, and you're getting knocked around, and it's all for the love of the game. Not a lot of people are getting paid. That's a good thing to really enjoy that kind of stuff, because that's where I came from theater, and just putting a costume piece and a couple of props together and then making a whole adventure. I love that, and so I'm still romantic about it in that way. So, uh, yeah.
And you mentioned the Coen brothers earlier a couple of times. So, are they like some of the a couple of the directors who maybe influenced your career as both a director and writer, director and actor? And are there any other directors who maybe you admire or really have influenced your career overall?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. The Coen Brothers style, larger than life, violent, beautiful. They just have an amazing characters, and amazing. And just they do the aesthetic is just perfect. I think. I don't know. I think they're amazing, and yes, so absolutely. And I think, of course, Spielberg and Coppola and Scorsese and and Woody Allen, and I love Woody Allen. Just being a performer myself, and putting myself in my movies, and then kind of creating a circus around you, where you have, where you're where this is like this last movie I did, which was Don Peyote. I'm in every scene in the movie, and I have a co-director, Michael Canzanero, who I've worked on a few movies with, and he's got a good eye technically, and so we make a good team, and you just get a lot of people around you for the love of the game, and you try to just create this whirlwind, around you, and pray that everything gets done, and then when it does get done, it's like a miracle, and everyone. That's where I'm at right now with this movie, Don Peyote. I'm really excited about it. uh, when we're right at the finish line with it. And actually, Josh is in that as well. He does a really great performance.
And you mentioned independent movies earlier, and Scenic Route is also an independent film. So, did making this movie independently maybe pose any challenges or difficulties overall during the shoot?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, yeah. I made about 100 when I was in college. I made about 100 student films, and that's like you got no budget, and often you're it's like guerrilla, just stealing shots at locations, and so I'm really used to that, and I kind of have a soft spot in my heart for people who want to actually make movies like that because it's the Cassavetes vein of making a film where you get a bunch of friends together and just grab the camera and just shoot. God damn it, who cares about if you have the budget? Yeah, just make a movie. There's something great about that, and so I had a lot of. I came at this strictly looking at it like this is a great fucking part. This is where these are the kind of roles that I want to do, and it's a big juicy role. It's basically me. It's me and Josh did 95% of the film, just talking and trying to kill each other out in the middle of the desert. And so I mean I just read the script and I was like, let's do it. I'm on board. Yeah.
And speaking of those scenes where you and Josh are in the desert and kind of really are fighting with each other overall about your characters like life decisions. So, what was that process like of preparing for those more like physical scenes overall?
We had a rehearsal process where we obviously went over the dialogue over and over and over and over and over again, and we had a great stunt coordinator who worked out a lot of the fighting. So by the time we were there, it was just fighting the elements and just getting it done. It was once you get the fight down, then it's a dance, and it's really fun to do. I really love that physical stuff, fighting and looking like you're fighting and swashbuckling stuff. I love that.
And the movie premiered at South by Southwest this year.
Yeah.
Were you able to attend any of the screenings at the festival? And if so,
Yeah.
did you receive
Yeah.
any kind of response from audiences there?
A lot of the same thing where um, they're at the end. They're I think they're impressed or they're surprised at the performances. Um, you know, just seeing what happens with Josh and I think that they come away with it from it kind of questioning like their own relationships and really thinking and afterward when they go to the coffee shop afterward they're talking about it an couple hours after. It sticks with them. People want to see it again, so that's a good thing, and I hear it's doing pretty well out there. So I'm psyched. But I think they're telling me I got to wrap it up.
Okay, so
Call it.
I just wanted to ask one last question. Do you have any upcoming projects, whether acting or directing, that you can discuss?
Yeah, I got a bunch of stuff that's coming out, including Don Peyote and this animated movie called Freebirds, which is coming out on Thanksgiving. I'm doing a lot of horror stuff. I got a graphic novel called Moon Lake Volume 2 we're working on that comes out Halloween. Another movie I have called Hellbenders is coming out on Halloween. So the end of the year is going to be really busy for me. And there's a lot of TV stuff I'm working on, cultivating my own projects and doing arcs shows like Hannibal, stuff like that. But yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Okay, thank you very much for your time.